All right, Teak, this is always a treat. It's been a while, but we are joined now on the Ring Central hotline by one of the luminaries of the game, the great Verne Lundquist, of course. Ring Central providing easy-to-use cloud phone solutions for your workforce and business communications made simple. For more information, go to ringcentral.com. Icon, superstar, legend. Which one do you prefer, Mr. Lundquist?
None of the above.
Oh, man.
I really, this whole last season thing has been overwhelming, Brandon. The reaction in each stadium and the mementos that Nancy and I have been given. It's something we never expected and that we're treasuring. But I'll stay away from icon or legend.
Yeah, no, we'll take care of that.
Those are guys like Tiki Barber. That's
look at him.
I stay away from that as well. Vern.
Oh man, yeah, you should see what we call mall fair. It's nowhere near legend. But Vern, let me ask you this, because I watch the SEC on CBS every like we all do. We all watch it, and I've heard you talk about this. I've seen some of the gifts you've gotten, and you're trying to walk the line of obviously remaining professional and doing your job well, but also absorbing the sentiment and showing thanks for those who are sending you out in a great way that, quite frankly, you really deserve. Does that ever get in the way in your mind of not being focused, but does your mind ever wander, knowing that it's your last season? You got to be a little sad deep down.
Yeah, this has been. I mean, this decision was finalized back in May. Sean McManus and I had talked about it for a couple of years. When would it be appropriate? And I got this amazing award in New York in May, the Emmy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yep.
And Sean and I talked after that night, and he said that was pretty good. He presented me that night, and it was just like one of those memorable nights that Nancy and I ever had. And I thought, that might be a nice way to begin. And this is not a victory lap, but to bring all of this to a terrific close.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed Brad Nessler was available. He'd had contract difficulties, I think, with ESPN. He and Gary had worked together before. He wanted to come back to CBS, and he lives in Atlanta. He loves college football. So all of those things came together, and the decision was made, okay, I'll do this season and then hand it off to Brad, and he'll take Gary and the rest of the crew and keep going.
Yeah.
But it's become much more emotional than I thought it would. And I think it's because it all started, I grew up in Texas. I live in Colorado now. But our first game was Texas A&M UCLA. And Kevin Sumlin gave me a framed jersey with something said on the bottom of it. It's back in Steamboat right now. And the number 12,
mm-hmm.
and my name on the back of the jersey. Well, if you grow up in Texas, you know the legend of the 12th man and what it means at Texas A&M. And it was a wow moment for me. And it's continued every week. And the affection is something that Nancy and I both so much appreciate. It does make it emotional. And
yeah.
You check it off and you think, okay.
Yeah.
In this case, last weekend, we had a double overtime game. And I had such a long history at Texas A&M because of my growing up in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And walking out of the stadium thinking, well, that's the last time. And then, fans have been so great and just the thank yous and you've done great and that kind of stuff that they holler as you're walking to the car. We'll never forget it, and we're getting to share it, and that's great.
That's awesome. And by the way, you go back, you don't have the microphone. Instead, you do a couple of keg stands. You have a few beers, you go back and you watch the game.
You know what? Yeah. Honest to God, we did Alabama at Ole Miss, and the SID, the Sports Information Director at Alabama, now is a young man named Josh Maxson. And he said, "Are you going to miss all this?" And I said, "Yes, obviously I will." And he said, "Well, just so you know, if you ever want to come to an Alabama game, all you do is call us, and then you make your own arrangements to get to Tuscaloosa, and you'll be treated a lot better than you are as a broadcaster."
Yeah, I like it. Verne
That invitation's there.
Yeah. We got you. Verne Lundquist, of course, legendary play-by-play man. SEC on CBS coming up this Saturday. Tennessee and Bama. And Verne is with us here on Tiki and Tierney.
Verne, 53 years you've been a broadcaster. Has there ever been a point where it felt like work?
No. Now, that's not to say that it hasn't been a roller coaster. It certainly has been. I mean, I got the job in Dallas at WFAA on my third time. You guys have been through it. You know, it's a game of perceptions and judgment. Not a game. I don't mean that. But you know, I can't go into the boss and say I filled my quota and sold 300 cards this month.
Yeah.
It's their assessment of me and the fans. And, yeah, we have all these rating systems and so on. But it's not heavy lifting, you know? There's so much immense pleasure in preparation and getting ready for it. And then, I mean, I'm taking the time, I think I am, in this final year to soak it all in. And then I think, holy cow, how blessed are you to have had this long run. And unless something tragic happens, like a curse on the air, I'm going to be able to finish on top and look back over more than 50 years. I'm in my 54th year, and that's ridiculous.
That's awesome is what it is, Verne. It's awesome.
It really is. I never, I never thought I'd get to work for a network as long as I have. And then to be the happy recipient of this relationship with this prominent, very prominent college football conference, and to be the conduit by which we help people enjoy that every Saturday. It's just, it's an extraordinary position that I've worked hard to get into, and I'm enjoying it.
You're the best. Verne, we'll get you back on for sure. We are actually going to commercial now, but on behalf of America, we love you, man. So we will talk to you soon. You got a couple of more games to go, but we'll wrap up when it's all said and done. Thank you, Verne.
Okay, Brandon, Kiki, thank you guys very, very much.
Be good, Verne. We listen to you this weekend as well. Tennessee and Alabama, 3:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS.